The gag is, they didn't miss home. They missed the spotlight, and now that the Hollywood lights are flickering, the UK is suddenly looking like the emergency charger they swore they'd never crawl back to. Listen, people keep whispering, oh, it's about healing, it's about family. Sure, and I'm the Queen's personal diary. Because if this was about peace, why does it feel like a full-on comeback plot with desperation stitched into every scene? Here's what the streets are saying. The UK isn't a destination, it's a strategy. A last-ditch, high-stakes, reputation rescue mission. And the wildest part? The very place they ran from is the only place left where the Prince and Duchess branding still makes people stop scrolling for half a second. Picture it, the monarchy, the institution they practically set on fire in public, is now the backdrop they want to borrow again. Not because it's warm, but because it's useful. Because California freedom sounds cute until the invoices start arriving and the deals start dying. And I need you to clock the irony. They left in 2020 with the big dramatic storyline, we want a normal life. Away from cameras, away from the circus. Give us privacy. That word, privacy, was the shiny excuse on the gift wrap. But baby, the box inside? It was ambition, fame, a whole new empire plan.
Would explain the fact that she is literally plotting to return to the United Kingdom, a country that she has decried as racist, a country where as a result of her treatment of the late Queen Elizabeth II and Prince Philip, she is despised, she will be booed. She's not a threat, by the way, in terms of her safety, but reputationally, absolutely.
Because what happened right after the We Want Quiet speech? They didn't go quiet, they went loud, contracts loud, red carpet loud, global media partnership loud. They got out, turned around, and immediately started scooping up mega deals like they were collecting Infinity Stones, Netflix, Spotify, Penguin Random House. The kind of deals that don't say leave us alone. The kind of deals that scream, watch us, pay us, talk about us. And at first, oh, it looked slick. Like they were about to rule Hollywood with a royal sparkle filter.
But I hope that helps you understand what it had come to. That I would step my family back from all I have ever known, to take a step forward into what I hope can be a more peaceful life.
They were pictured with the right people, photographed at the right events, making it seem like the industry was rolling out a velvet carpet and whispering, yes, your influences. But then, blink, just blink, and the fantasy started cracking. Because the deals started dropping like a messy group chat when the receipts hit. Spotify, gone, shut down after one season. One season. That's not a creative pause, that's a thank you. Next with a corporate smile.
The Duchess of Sussex have signed a multi-year deal to produce films and series for Netflix, no less.
And Netflix? Stalled. And that cooking show situation? People in suits allegedly sitting there like, why did we approve this? Imagine having enough budget to film Dreams and still ending up with a huge blunder narrative circling your project like sharks.
Everything is temporary.
It's over. Harry and Meghan's estimated $25 million podcast deal canceled after less than a year.
My wife and I we're moving on.
Now here's where the tone changes, because this is the part nobody wants to say out loud. When the money pipeline dries up, the storyline changes. When the hype fades, suddenly the return starts looking romantic. Suddenly, the UK becomes home again. Suddenly, they're open to stepping back into the royal orbit they couldn't wait to trash. And the whisper going around is brutal. The comeback is not about reconciliation, it's about survival. Because if your big reinvention era doesn't reinvent anything, what do? You go back to the one brand that still sells, royal proximity. And apparently, the frustration is getting loud behind the scenes. When the commercial ventures don't materialize, when the headlines stop trending, when the checks stop coming in as easy, the vibe shifts from we choose our appearances to we need to be booked. That's when speaking gigs go from passion projects to paid necessities. That's when you stop floating and start calculating. That's when you're not just showing up, you're charging. And allegedly, Harry now has a price list before he even steps out to speak. The internet calls it rent a prince, and honestly, the embarrassment stings even through the screen.
Entered rehab yesterday. That is the biggest pile of crap I've ever seen on television in my life. Somebody texted me and went, "You don't use yogurt, you use cottage cheese, you twat."
Because think about it, this is a man who used to walk into rooms and people stood up. Now the rumor is everything must be monetized like a vending machine. The philanthropy image? Getting folded into branding. The public work? Getting repositioned as content, as relevance, as visibility. And then, like a twist in a messy reality show, you get the UK angle. Because the return isn't just let's pop in for tea. It's tied to something way more calculated, the taxpayer-funded security fight. The idea being show up physically, stir the public conversation, pressure the system, and make the case harder to ignore.
Everything career-wise is over for her. It's collapsed.
And you can practically hear the logic. If we're in the UK, the stakes feel real. If we're in the UK, the cameras follow. If we're in the UK, the government feels cornered. Because the goal is simple: win the security battle and UK appearances become easier, cheaper, smoother. And when you're trying to rebuild a crumbling public narrative, smooth access is priceless. But the gag? The security review has this whole it's not what it seems vibe around it, like a chess move disguised as a family visit. Some people swear it looks like a pressure play, trying to bounce the British government into giving them what they want. And if they lose? That's humiliating, because the message becomes, taxpayers don't fund security for non-working royals. Full stop. No loopholes, no glossy PR, no dramatic victim soundtrack. So now, the UK return starts looking less like a homecoming and more like an extraction mission. Extract relevance, extract protection, extract headlines, extract the last drops of royal magic before the public fully moves on. And don't get it twisted, they know controversy sells. A boo still trends, a tense appearance still circulates. A strange royal moment still fills comment sections like gasoline. So when you hear they're returning, don't picture a soft, sentimental reunion. Picture a couple staring at the wreckage of collapsed deals, stalled projects, and fading clout, and deciding the only remaining stage big enough to hold their story is the one they walked off most loudly. The truth nobody wants to admit is this: the UK isn't welcoming them back with open arms, it's watching them with crossed arms and raised eyebrows. Because the mood has shifted. The sympathy era? Expired. The curiosity era? Burned out. What's left is skepticism. Thick, heavy, and unforgiving. And insiders whisper that Meghan knows it. Oh, she knows it. That's why every potential return is rumored to be tightly choreographed. No casual strolls, no random pub visits, no unscripted moments. Every step is measured. Because one wrong photo could turn a lukewarm reception into a PR ice bath. Because the UK audience isn't Hollywood. You can't spin sincerity there with buzzwords and background music. Brits don't clap for effort, they clap for restraint. And this couple? They've never learned the art of quiet. That's the tension humming underneath this entire return narrative. They need the UK, but the UK doesn't need them. And that imbalance? That's dangerous. Because once you need a stage more than the audience wants to show, the desperation starts leaking through the cracks. And allegedly, it already is. There are murmurs that behind closed doors, the mood is tense. That the smiles are thinner, that the conversations are sharper, that the pressure to make this work has turned the relationship into something transactional, not romantic, not dreamy, strategic. Every appearance now has to justify itself. Every trip has to earn headlines. Every photo has to spark conversation. Because silence isn't peaceful anymore. It's terrifying. And let's talk about the royal family side of this. Because baby, the frost is real. This isn't a fairy tale pause waiting for a reconciliation montage. Trust has been shattered in public. Private conversations were turned into global content. Family moments were monetized. And once that line is crossed, you don't uncross it with a plane ticket and a press release. The palace doesn't move on vibes, it moves on memory. And memories don't forget betrayal. So if there's any door still open, it's barely cracked. And not out of affection, but obligation. Because blood may be thicker than water, but headlines are louder than apologies. And here's the part that really stings. The monarchy survived them. The institution didn't crumble. The crown didn't wobble. The world didn't collapse into the chaos they predicted. Life went on. New storylines took over. New faces captured attention. The machine kept moving. And that reality? It hits hard when your entire brand was built around being the disruptors. Because what do disruptors do when the system shrugs and keeps functioning? They panic. And suddenly, the narrative shifts from we left to build something better to we still matter, right? And that question hangs heavy over every rumored UK visit. There's also a darker whisper swirling, one nobody wants to touch out loud. The idea that this return could be the beginning of separation arcs. Solo rebrands. Independent paths. Because when joint ventures stop performing, Hollywood logic kicks in, split the assets, test the markets separately. People are already watching body language like it's a forensic science. Who walks ahead? Who speaks first? Who looks exhausted? Who looks irritated? Who still believes in the story? And who looks like they're stuck inside it? Because here's the brutal truth of fame. It doesn't protect relationships, it stress tests them. And when the applause fades, you're left with raw dynamics. Power, control, blame, regret. Some insiders swear the UK return is also about leverage, about reminding everyone, including each other, that the royal connection still exists, that Harry still has a throne-adjacent identity, that Meghan still holds the Duchess title that Hollywood can't manufacture no matter how many scripts it buys. Because without that connection, they're just another celebrity couple in a town full of shinier ones. And that's the fear no one wants to say out loud. The fear of becoming ordinary. So the UK becomes symbolic, a reminder of status, of hierarchy, of a time when attention wasn't chased, it arrived automatically. But time doesn't reverse, public memory doesn't reset, and the audience doesn't forget who lit the match and walked away smiling. So if and when they land back on British soil, don't expect warmth, expect scrutiny, expect silence louder than boos. Expect faces that don't flinch anymore, because the UK has already processed this story. And the verdict isn't sympathy, it's exhaustion. And the most uncomfortable possibility of all? That this return won't fix anything. Not the finances, not the reputation, not the fractures. That it will simply underline what's already happening, the slow, undeniable fading of a once explosive narrative. Because the spotlight they're chasing now isn't the one they had before. It's dimmer, smaller, less forgiving. And when you chase a light that's already moving on, sometimes all you expose is the shadow behind you. That's the real reason this return feels so heavy, not hopeful, not healing, heavy. Because this isn't a homecoming, it's a reckoning.